Hey y'all, welcome back to the AI Agent Challenge. My name is Dylan. I help entrepreneurs win the game of business with AI agents and automated workflow. So today is going to be something that a lot of people have been asking for. It is a highly demanded thing. What we're going to be building is an AI agent booking system. Something that you can have a lead come in through a platform, wherever that might be, through a Google form or Typeform or any other places that you might have it, and be able to have the AI be able to look at your calendar, find the available times, suggest times to the lead, and then be able to go back and forth with that lead until they find a date and a time that works for them, ultimately then saying that we're going to then book them into a calendar with their email. Now, this is a complex system. This is something that if you haven't had a lot of experience with Make, you're going to want to go back to the beginning of my AI Agent Challenge to kind of get your feet wet, get comfortable with what Make is and how it works before you lead up to this. The second thing I will let you know is that we will be using Twilio. So you do need to sign up for a Twilio account to be able to do text messages, because Twilio is how we send text messages in the whole Make world. And thirdly, just for anybody else that wants to know this, you can go through this whole thing, replicate what I'm doing, build it out yourself. If you don't want to do that, or if you get stuck with that, I will be making my blueprints available download for purchase. So if you want to purchase it, great. If you just want to go through the whole thing and build it yourself, that's awesome too. So whatever you want, let's get started and let's hop into making the AI agent booking system. All right, we are here with make.com. We're going to log into our scenarios, and we're going to be going to the top of the folder here, which is the 30-day AI Agent Challenge. We are going to create a new scenario here, and this is going to be a two-part scenario. So we're going to call this one Day 24A, and we'll call this SMS AI Booking Agent, just like that. Now, because this is a bigger tutorial, I'm not going to be building a Typeform and having the Typeform go in or any of the other types of ways. I'm just going to be showing you the pieces that are critical here for the education. If you want to see those, you can go back to previous videos where I show you how to build Typeforms or other types of lead magnets and bring them into your system. And we're going to get started here by creating a variable system called set multiple variables. Set multiple variables. And we're going to want to add in a couple of variables as if a lead came into the system. And so we're going to add an item here to set these variables. We're going to call this one, we'll call this one first name, Dylan, last name, Watkins. We're going to put in the variable email. So we can use whatever email we want. So let's just say we do Dylan at dylanjwatkins.com, like that. And then we're going to go and add in a phone number because we have to be able to message with the AI. So we're going to put in my phone number into here, just like that. And then another thing we can add in here is we can call this a type of service if we want to call it service. And let's just say the service is scaling your coaching business. All right, all that should be good. And now that we have our variables set, what this is going to act as is a lead that comes in. So we'll call this, in terms of renaming, lead intake form. All right, so when the lead came in, however it means, this is going to be where we're going to say that they're going to hypothetically be coming from. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go into a Google Calendar event. This is just there's a bunch of ways to do this, but I'm going to show you a way that I think is simple but also effective. I'm going to open up a calendar here. This is just one of my personal calendars that I never use from Google. And we're going to make a couple of different events. So generally speaking, there are certain times in the calendar when you'd want to be able to book someone for. You don't want to be able to have the entire time. There's probably set times that you're going to want to have sales meetings, booking meetings. And we're going to go inside of here and we're going to make some of these. So I'm going to go inside of here and we're going to create a couple of them by just creating a couple different blocks of time. So we're going to give this a 2-hour block here. And I'm just going to call this sales_meeting_availability. We'll hit save with that. We're going to go to 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. We'll say that on Wednesday. And we're going to call that, again, sales meeting availability. And let's just do 1 p.m. to, I'm just doing 2-hour time blocks. It's just simple. Says me the availability. And let's just do one last one here. And we'll just do it on the weekend. We'll just do 2 to 4 p.m. Now these could be set times. You could maybe do it Monday through Friday at a certain time, or you might do it on the weekends. But right now, we'll just say for testing purposes, these are our 4 blocks for the week of 2 hours each of when we're going to be available for 30-minute meetings. And the goal here is when these leads come in, we're going to want to schedule them into a booked appointment based on our availability. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to use a calendar function here, a Google Calendar function. So let's go to Google Calendar, just like that. And we're going to search for events. And I don't have a calendar event made for this one, so I'm going to call this one Dylan Personal. Sign in. I'm going to sign in real fast. Allow. Great. And so I'm just picking this primary calendar from one that I never ever use. And what we're going to be doing here for the calendar is we're going to be setting start date, end date, and we're going to be putting in what are we searching for. And so with this, what we're looking for is we're going to use a couple of functions. We're going to be having the search date using a format date function here. And we're going to be starting from now. And so this format function here allows us to put in the variable or a function variable here called now. And what this is just basically a timestamp from make. It's a variable that allows us to timestamp something. So we put it inside this bracket right here that allows us to say, okay, now, and then we want to format it. Well, what's the format that we want to use for this? If you see here that shows you the format is month, day, year, year. So we're going to be doing that as well. We're going to go inside of here, month, day, year, just like that. And then we're going to go inside of here and we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to want to add additional dates. So we're going to copy this, paste this over, and what we're going to use is another function, and this is called add days. So add days allows you to, as you might guess, add days to the time that you already have set. So we're wrapping this add days function here around the current time. We can add 2, -2, depending if we have minus or just a standard numerical number. And if we go inside of here, we're just going to be adding in, let's see, we're going a couple days out. We'll say 5 days out. Usually within sales meetings and things like that, when you build these things out, you generally want to be able to have about 5 days out. Now, I'm going to have it just like that. That's the end time. And then we're going to put, what are we looking for in here? And we can say, single events. We can say, sure, we're looking for single events. We don't want repeating events. Technically, if this was a repeating event, we could use it, but these are all single events right now. And the query that we're going to be looking for, which is the title of the event that we're searching for, is we're just going to go here and we're going to grab this sales_meeting_availability. Now, you don't have to put underscores inside of there. I just did it, a little programming habit. But now that we have that inside of there, we say, okay, great, that's awesome. We can put back how many of these we want to get back, limit 10, but I think we have like 5 in there if that, but that should be fine. Let's just change it to 5. If we want to grab 5 of the events or whatever, but we have that. Now that we have that, what's going to be happening here is we're going to be able to search through these events and we're going to be able to grab these ones over here. So now that we have that working like that, and all that works fine, the next thing we're going to want to be able to do is we're going to use a text aggregator. We're going to search for this information, but we want to be able to pull this data out and put it in something that allows us to be able to have AI search it in an easier capacity. And so we're going to be using a text aggregator. And what that does is it aggregates or it gathers the text up. It puts it all together into one long string and format. And with it, we're going to be doing that inside of here as we can go. We're going to get this module, which is the Google Calendar module from over here. Select that. We're going to go into the here. I'm going to type in start time, colon, and this is where we can format the start date and the end date for what we have. And so we're going to use this format function, just like that. Oh, close it out. like that. Makes so weird sometimes about that popping the variables always to the side unless you catch it. So format date. So we're gonna say, okay, well, what are we gonna be grabbing over here? And so from this, we're gonna be actually grabbing the variable information from over here. Now I don't think we can grab this just yet because we have to run it. So we need that variable to run. I'm just gonna hit this. We'll hit run once. It says run anyways. The transformer, which is this, shouldn't be less, but we don't care about that because we're not really using that. We're just trying to trigger it. So we ran it. We can see that we're getting the dates. These are all of the output bundles that we have from that calendar that we just scheduled. And so you can see that these are all the blocks of time that we have inside of here. And now that we've done that, we can now access all of these variables that come from here. And what we're looking for is the start variable. Let's go down here. All right. And we can put in, what we're putting in is another format type, which is just year, year, month, month, day, day. And then we're going to have hour, hour, minute, minute, A. So that puts it in a bit more of a readable format. It gives you the hours up to the minutes inside of there. Now we can say end time. Like that. We'll add a little space. Just like that. Give a little space for that. Otherwise it'd be one long string. And then we're going to add in a format date, just like before, which we can just copy this across. All the way across like that. But instead of the start time, we're going to be doing the end time. And so this is just allowing us to format it over here. So I'm going to go here. We're going to get rid of this start variable. And instead, we are going to use the end variable, which is right here. Just like that. Great. So now that we have that, for example, we can hit run anyways. Now we can see the output bundle here shows the start date and end date, the end times for each one of the events that are inside of here. So it grabs the start and end date for each one of those variables. And you can see inside of it, it's even down to the hour. You can see from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on June 20th. And if we look here, June 20th, 1 to 3. So we know that works. Wonderful. Fantastic. Now, we're going to be using something a little different just because we could do it in a Google spreadsheets. We could do it in a ClickUp. We could do it in an Airtable. We could do it all over the place. But I want to use something different just to give you a different grab bag of tool sets. So we're going to be using something called a data store. All a data store is a table of data that lives inside of Make. And so just the same way that you could access a Google spreadsheet, it's just like a Google spreadsheet. It's a data store. And I wanted to use this for you, just kind of want to show you a different way to be able to level up with this stuff. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to double click here. And we want to create a data store, add a data store. So we're going to type in data store. Just like that. And we want to add or replace a record inside of here. Now, these data stores, and I'll show you where they live, we're going to want to make a new one inside of here. So we're going to hit add. And we're going to call this one SMS AI. We'll call it agent. I think I have something similar. Booking. All right. SMS AI agent booking. So we have that inside of there. And now we're going to want to hit enter like that. And we're going to want to add in the data structure, and it's asking us, what do we want to call this? SMS AI agent booking. Just like that. It's going to be the structure name. And we're going to add in the specific items inside of here. Cool. So inside of here, we're going to go, what are some elements that we're going to want to have inside of here? And so we can have, for example, name. Might need to go through and run this data before we can actually populate it. But if we go to add items, it says must not be empty. And so we're going to call this one name, like that. And we're going to say it's text. That's the data that's going to come in. It could be an array of objects. It could be a collection, date or time, number, Boolean, binary data. But we're just going to make most of these text. Sometimes when you feed in a number that's not accurate, like a phone number, and it's off a little bit, it freaks out and breaks it. We don't want that to happen. So this is going to be name. It's going to be called text. So that's cool. And we're going to have that inside of there. And then we can add in new information as well. So we want to have the email, which is also going to be text. We're going to add a new item inside of here. I'm going to call this one phone for phone number. We're going to go in. We're going to create another one. We're going to call this chat history so that we can keep the history of the chat. Now, I'm going to show you using the API assist on the back end of OpenAI how to get in and create your own API assist and use this. And originally I was doing this for the chat history function, but it wasn't doing a great job. So we're not going to be using a ton of it. I'm going to show you how you can be able to save what's called a thread, which is the chat history of a OpenAI API assist, so that you can keep basically the context of the conversation inside of there. But when I was doing it, it wasn't doing a great job at memorizing it. So I'm going to show you how to utilize it, but I'm also going to be showing you how you can use these data stores for referencing this information. Now the next elements we're going to add here is a booking date suggestion, which is going to be more text. We'll add another one in here. I'm going to call this one, oh, that's interesting, multi-line. I wonder if we might have multi-line for that. Booking date suggestions. I want to say yes for multi-line for that. All right, and then we say booking date selected. So booking date suggestions, we're going to have a list of the different suggested dates that we're going to have available in 30-minute slot increments. And the selection means that they've actually picked it. You know, that was the one that they ended up selecting. And multi-line, sure. And then last one here is we're going to say service. Well, what was the service? What are we servicing them with? Can I accessing this data? No, I can't do it yet. Okay, so this is just giving us a structure. I don't think we need to make it strict or anything else. One last one. We're going to call this one appointment slots available. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So appointment slots available is going to be, these are the available times out of, and then these are going to be the ones that are suggested, or this is going to be the ones that are suggested right here, this suggested times. So top level, here's the entire blocks of time you have. Here's the one we're going to suggest in binary time. Like, do you want 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock? Do you want 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock? And then over here, we're going to have, this is the one that they've ultimately selected. So that should be all the information that we need. All that looks good. Slots available, multi-line, definitely yes on that one. And selection, booking date suggestion, chat history, text, name, phone number. All right. Oh, it looks good. Save. Storage size between 1 and 4. We're going to be using text. It's not going to have that much space, so it doesn't matter. We're going to click OK. Just like that. Now, the way that we reference things are with a key. So this key here is like, how do we look up this record? What's the anchor to this record? And what we're going to be using, because we're using text messages, is the phone number. So we're always going to have this phone number be the key for us to be able to add in information inside of here. Now, we're going to populate this with some of this data right now. And we can do first name and last name, but I'm just going to put the first name in there right now, because usually with text messages, you don't say, hello, Dylan Watkins. You just say, hello, Dylan. And I could parse it out, but let's just have it like this. We're going to put in the email. That'll be for later. And we'll have a phone number. And then we're going to have services. What was the service? Scaling my coaching business. Great. All right, so that's all the information that we need inside of there. And so now we're going to be adding that to this store, the data store. And I can show you where this lives inside of here, but we'll show you when I get to the actual testing of the system, because then we'll actually have data inside of there. Now that we have this add replace records inside of there, we're going to want to be able to get the record. And so this allows us to retrieve it, so then we have access to the information, or at least get the information. Later on, we'll have to do something else to be able to go in a little bit deeper, but you'll see what I'm saying. So we're going to go into get a record, just like this. Choose the data set. I'm going to say AI SMS AI booking. I believe that's the right one. Yes. Okay. And then the key inside of here is we're going to be using, again, we want to use the phone number. So we always have that as a reference. So now that we have all that running across there, the next step that we have here is we're going to get a couple more modules and we can run through this whole system. That should work. I might need to go back and do an actual search to get this, but I think this will work just fine. But we're going to go inside of here. We're going to open this up. And now we're going to open up the AI module piece. We're going to go into OpenAI. And we can actually access an assistant. Now, in order to access assistant, you need to create an assistant. The way that you do that is you got to go to OpenAI. You have to pay for the 20 bucks a month to have the OpenAI Pro account. And once you do that, you can log into something like this, which is just platform.openai.com. When you do that, you have access to all of these wonderful, wonderful systems. You can fine tune, you can do storage, a bunch of other things, but we're going to be creating an assistant here. And so inside of here, I've created this SMS booking assistant right here. And you can see that how this thing is run. And I mean, just to show you what this looks like, I'm just going to grab and copy and paste this. And we're going to go to create another one of these, but just so you can see it. If I was going to call this one SMS AI booking, AI agent booking, just like that. And I have the instructions. Purpose: you are an AI-powered assistant developed specifically for helping potential customers find a time in a calendar. You'll be provided a list of available time slots and work with the user to confirm the time works for them based on the availability in the calendar. So that's what we're going to be using. Here's 4.0. I think I had the other one in the 4.0 Turbo. So let's just stick with Turbo. And then it's asking about, do you want to be able to give it file search abilities or JSON code interpreters? Right now, we're not uploading any files. We could upload files. We could have it kick out JSON, which is useful. There's many things we could do. So like if we want to upload it to train it on a knowledge base or something, we could do that as well. But essentially, we're not going to be using any of that fun stuff. We're just going to be sticking with this right now. And the way to create this agent is we just hit create. Let me just call this V2 just in case. V2. All right. All right, so we got this V2 SMS booking bot. All right. So that we have created our assistant on the back end of OpenAI over here. Now we can be able to access that by going in here to message assistant. We're going to go and we're going to use this educational make API key that I made. We're going to go into here. And then we can go down to, we can see this SMS AI agent booking V2, just like that, inside of here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to copy and paste in something that I know works, and I'm going to run you through it just so you don't have to hear me type this whole thing out. So I'm going to do this, copy. We're going to go inside here and hit paste. Just like that. And here's what I put. Your job is to review the calendar times and select 2 times for a 30-minute window. The reason why we do this is in normal sales situation, you want to make it as easy for the buyer as possible. And I've built this out. This system I've built out before, and I've charged thousands of dollars to build this out and be able to get this using. But you don't want to send just somebody a link to book a time. You want to pick 2 times and go, do any of these times work for you? No? What about these times? Nope. What about these times? Nope. And then you keep doing that because it makes it easy for the lead to be able to just say yes. Right? So that's the goal. That's why we pick 2 time slots. For example, if there's availability from John Smith for 2 to 5 p.m. on June 7th, there's this weird get going on here. Get rid of this get. From John Smith for 2 to 5 p.m. on June 17th and 1 to 3 on June 18th, you'll respond with, "Thank you for showing interest in our service." All right. I'm going to get rid of it. And this service over here, I can grab this. Now, maybe I don't have to, maybe I won't be able to access that. I might have to search for that to have access to that. We'll see how that pops up. But we have availability for a 30-minute meeting on June 17th at 2:30 p.m. or July 18th at 1 p.m. Would either of these times work well for you? So I'm showing the AI how I want to respond. And so the client's name, and this is where I was actually splitting the name from before, but we don't need to do that because we just have the first name. We just say the client's name is, and we'll put in the name right here because we just have the first name. And we go, here are the available time slots. And we can populate that with the available time slots. We go here, okay, and we're going to pick this one, which is booking time slot selection. I think we might need to change that out. I'm going to hit save here, but I think we might need to change that out, move that over to available time slots. Now, at the bottom here, we have this thing called the thread ID. Now, this thread ID gets generated every single time this spins up and has a conversation. And so we want to be able to keep the same thread ID. And we're going to use that, and we're going to kick that back into the actual data store so we can reference that later. I'm going to hit save. I'm just going to take a look at this real fast. That's the phone number. Great. Now in here, I don't see that other booking slot available here, which is the available time slot. So we're going to want to add that inside of here. Let's see if we can edit this from here. Let's go inside of here. So for some reason, it didn't actually grab this. So this would be a good time to show you the data store. So we can show you what the data store looks like, because we're going to want to create a section here called appointment slots availability. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to edit the actual database. So we're going to log into Make, and now we're going to go into data stores. And this right here is what I'm calling the SMS booking agents, which I believe this is the one we're using. We're going to hit edit. Now we can open up this SMS booking agent, and we're going to set this 3 dots. We're going to open up the edit. We can see we have the name, we have the email, we have the phone number, chat history, the date suggested, the date selected, services, but we did not add in the one here, appointment slots available. And those are going to be just the available appointment slots. All right, we're going to click save, save again. So now we've upgraded that. We've got that inside of there. We're going to be using this. So now if we go back inside of this data store, go over here, and let's go ahead and hit this little refresh button. So now we have this populated with the data. We have first name, email, phone, no chat history yet, services, yes. Now slots available. This is where we're going to be using this text aggregator right here that are going to be grabbing the slots available, the appointment slots available from the calendar. So we're going to add it in, and we're going to call this appointment slots gathered. All right, and then now that we have that, so now that we have all of that stuff, we can open this back up. And we can go into here and say the client's name is, and gives the first name. And we can select from here that we're going to use is the data store, but it's not being populated yet. So we can go ahead and run this right now. And in fact, what I want to do, just to make sure that we can get that data store data, we're actually able to access it. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to open up a thing. You're going to see me make this is a get multiple variables, and this will allow us to see those multiple variables coming across. So I'm going to unhook this real quick, and we're going to take a look at this, make sure that we get access to these data store information. So I'm going to type in name. Oh, set multiple variables. Wrong one. We're going to want to set multiple variables. Set multiple variables, just like that. Cool. And this is just going to be good for testing purposes. And so we want to make sure that we can have access to the name, email. And I'm going to be grabbing it from this data store to make sure we can actually access that data store information. Sometimes you have to search for it. It's not always available. So this is a really helpful beta testing practice. We're going to call this one, we don't have the appointments suggested yet. We just want appointments available. Okay. We can populate this with the first name. Oh, not from there. From the data store. Because the reason why I'm doing this is so that I can tell that I can access this data store information. Because before I had to do a search function to be able to access it. And I just want to make sure I can access it from here. So we have this available, and then this isn't populating yet because we have to run it. Go here. Let's go here. Let's hit refresh. Will this allow me to populate this? There we go. Available. Great. So let's go ahead and hit save, and we're going to run this one time all the way through, and let's just see the data. Did we get it? Yep. All that data came through. Wonderful. So you can see from the data store, we're getting the name, the phone number, the email, and the slotted availability, which is great. And so in here, we can see that the output bundle, it says, I'm happy to help you, but please give me the data time, because we didn't actually, you see this right here, we didn't actually populate it with any data, and so it couldn't find any data inside of there. So we're going to open this back up. The available times. And now that we know that actually works, we can feed that in from this multiple set variables that we just created. So we can see that coming across. Great. So we got that set. All of that looks good. The next piece of this is we're going to want to get that. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create our Twilio module. Now, so I'm going to create a Twilio module right now. But you do need to go to Twilio.com, sign up, and be able to get a phone number like this. So if you go inside of here, and I can go into manage my phone numbers and click my active numbers, you're going to want to get a phone number like this so that you can be able to use this number and be able to send text messages out through here. Setting up Twilio is a whole other video and tutorial I'm not going to go into, but it's here, and we're going to really want to use a webhook like this. So we're going to go inside of here, open up, double click on the button to create a module. We'll go to Twilio. We'll go to create a message. And then I'm going to go to phone numbers and active. And we're going to be using this one. And we're going to be messaging the actual phone number that is coming through on this side. Over here. Now the message body, we're going to have create a body, which is create a text message. And then the data we're going to feed through is coming from this module. Now this, just so you know, it's a little bit different than most of the other ones. If we look at this right here, when we open this up, we're going to want the value. With the other ones, with the normal ChatGPT completions, you're going to go into messages, and then it's inside of there. But this is value. We want the text.value, which is the dot expression. And that's going to be allowing us to send that message across as a text message over. So I'm going to hit save, just like that. And so now we have this whole thing. And I'm going to go ahead and run it. And it should, in a perfect world, oh, data store, duplicate key error, record with the same key exists or is already in use. Okay. Yep, I got it. So what this is saying right now is the fact that I can't create another record with the exact same ID. It's like having the same address. So what that's doing is we're going to want to go in to here into this SMS booking agent here, and we can go browse, open this up, and we can see that this got created from before. Now we're going to just leave this open because I'm going to be deleting this as we go, because I'm going to be using this database, and I'm going to be every time that a new lead comes in through our magical lead database here, we're going to take it, search for available times, and then we're going to add them into our data store, and then reference them throughout the whole thing. So I'm going to go back and forth several times as I create this. So we're going to hit run, going through the system here, and then should spin up, and then right now is I just got the message here, and so I'm going to go into the big cam, and you'll be able to see this right here. Dylan, thank you for showing interest in our service scaling your coaching business. We have availability for 30 minutes, June 18th at 5:30 or June 19th at 2:30. Would either of those times work for you? So that shows us that we had that. And so if we go over here and we look at the calendar, we see June 18th at 5:30, and we got this at 5 to 7, right? So you can take a look at that. And then we have this other one here, which was the 19th at 2:30, and which is, yep, 2 o'clock. So it is working. It's pulling the data, and it has sent us the relative message. Great. Awesome. So this module section here is almost done. There's only one last thing we're going to want to do, and that is creating one last record inside of here. And we're going to go into the data store, and we're going to want to not add or replace a record. We're going to want to update a record. So we scroll down to the SMS agent booking. We know we have that key from before, which is the phone number. And then we are going to update this chat history right here. Now this chat history is essentially inside of the OpenAI Assist here. We have a thing called a thread ID. That is basically the identifier of what is the chat history of what you've got going on. And so we'll be able to save that chat history as we jump over to the next module. So that will be added across inside of there. I am going to open up this data store here. I'm going to delete this one more time. You might be seeing me do this a lot as we go through testing, but I'm going to delete this so that when we go and create that module again and run it through, it will run through the whole process, send me the message, and then it will then grab that chat thread of the initial conversation and then dump it into the data store so that we can reference it later. Yay! All right, we got that. And so the next step with this section here is we are going to want to open up a new module. So we're going to go into make again, log in here. We're going to open up the scenarios. We're going to go into the 30-day AI Agent Challenge. We are going to create a new scenario. We're going to hit day 24 SMS AI booking, just like that. And we'll hit save. What we're going to be doing here to start off with is similar I did in a previous video where the AI could ask for ratings and reviews from a company. So if you got done with a job or whatever, it would then automatically text message your customer after the service was over and ask them how they felt about it, and if they liked it, you know, above 4 out of 5, it would then ask them the rate and review on Yelp. If it was 3 or below, message the owner, 4 and above, do that. So I had another video on that, but we're going to use the same pattern here. And the same pattern is this. We're going to open up and we are going to create a custom webhook. Go in here. We're going to go to custom webhook like that. And we can create and add a new webhook here. And we're going to call this new webhook SMS AI agent booking. All right, just like that. Enter. It's looking for the structured of the data to come through. So it's waiting for that number to come through as a text message so it knows what to expect. We are going to grab this address. You can also copy the clipboard here. And this is where if you have a Twilio phone number, you go down to here in terms of active numbers, you go to the very bottom. You don't want this voice one. You want this text one. And this is where we would copy this. Close that out. Hit paste. Save configuration. And now this webhook will be going through to make on this side inside of here. So if we were to run this module again, technically I'm going to run it one more time just so that I can populate that data store with my thread ID. So I'm going to run this again. We're going to get that sent over across, and I'm going to get a text message right now. Now we're going to go to make. When I text it back, and I'll say neither time works. I'm going to hit send like that. This is now going to be structured. Great. So now it knows this is going to be coming across to here. And we can see that works because the word accepted comes in. You can see it says accepted like that. But we don't want that accepted. So we're going to need to be able to break that with a webhook response. Type this, webhook response. We'll call this 204, and we're going to leave this blank. And what that will do is that will stop that accepted message to come through. Now, the next step of the process here is we're gonna route it, right? We're gonna access the data store. We're gonna access the record. We're gonna search for the record so that we can be able to access the data, and then we're gonna do additional things with it. Okay. So I double click, type in data store. I'm gonna say get a record. Scroll down to our SMS agent booking, and the key again. What are we using? And the key we're going to be using is from, because we just sent the message, and so we want to access the phone number, and that from number is right there because that is coming from us. We texted it, and that's the key, the same phone number. Awesome. And then everything else should be good like that. I don't think there's anything else we need. Let me open up, double check. No. All right, all that works. Now we're going to search records. Go here, open up data store, and then we're going to go into search records like that. And we're going to choose the exact same one as before, SMS AI agent. I have just found, for whatever reason, when I search the records like this, it now makes it searchable for the other data. But when I was using this before, setting this up, I wasn't able to actually access the system unless I took that step. Now that we have the data and we're able to search for it, the next one we're going to do is we're going to use ChatGPT as what I call an AI gate. An AI gate is something that when you're trying to do this complex decision making, you want ChatGPT to get the data in and then be able to label it as something. Now we could have it kick out JSON format or anything other things, but we just want to label it. And it's basically going to say, did the person that we're text messaging say, yes, those times work, or one of those times works, great, I want that time, or are you going to say, no, those times don't work, which means we're going to loop through and give it additional times. So I'm going to copy and paste a block of text in here so that you don't hear me drone on with actually doing this. And we can use the ChatGPT 4 model for this. Do the make education, create a prompt, and the model. Over here we can use the 4.0 system. And I'm going to go inside of here. This is going to be a big old system prompt. We're going to dump it in, and then I will explain it to you. What this is saying, it says that you are a helpful SMS booking assistant. Based on the SMS message received, you are going to either label the time they agreed with the label time agreed. If neither time suggested worked for the user, you are going to label the message from the user as suggest new time. You will not add any other information or comments besides one of two labels. Use the label time agreed if the user agrees to one of the two labels, or one of the two times, or use the label suggest new time if the user isn't available for the suggested time. All right. And what we can do here is we can give it a couple of different examples so that it understands exactly what we mean. So if we got a text message, and you would think of like what a general text message would look like, it would probably something like that. Neither of those times work for me. That'd probably be the message, something like that as a text message. We want this labeler to then label that with suggest new time. Or we could say that the user responded with a time that they did agree on. They could say something like, yeah, July 18th could work. And then we're going to go down to here and we can go into assistant, and the assistant would say time agreed. just like that. So now that we have that, so now we've trained the system with that few shot prompting, we can go inside of here, scroll down, and go, here is the suggested times. And this is where we could feed in the times that were suggested in terms of the booking suggestion times. Did I add that in from the previous? I think I did. Let's just double check that. But we're going to go to search the record here. We say booking date suggestion. Add that in, and we can say here is the user's response to those times, and we can put in the actual message that we got, which was the body. There's the body. So that's the body of the text message. Max tokens, we can give like 200 tokens for this, and that should be good. So we've trained the system on what that looks like. Now I just want to go back and make sure that I've actually I saved that data selected. So if we go inside of here, data store, is this being added into here? Booking time suggested. Nope. So we're going to want to update that. Oh. Yeah, so this right here, this was, we want to take the suggested times that the ChatGPT picked from in terms of that, and we want to add that in there. Go in here, and we can go inside this ChatGPT content text value, and those are the suggested times. We'll click OK, and we'll hit save. So now on that first module, when ChatGPT looks at the available times over here and then suggests it over here, we then add that to the record so that we're tracking that data. I'm gonna hit save. Go inside scenario. I'm gonna close out this OpenAI. We don't need that anymore. We don't need the assistants anymore. We do not need this webhook anymore. And this is probably all the information we're gonna really need. Got the data store over there. Great. Now we're gonna want to create a router that is gonna separate these two routes. And what this is gonna be is for really labeling the data here. And we're gonna have two rows that we're gonna go down, right? Two paths that we wanna create for this filter. And so one filter path is going to be over here, but let's make these two modules right now. We are going to want to go in here. We're going to want to set multiple variables. Just like that. And we'll build them out in a hot second, but we're going to want to add in those filters. So we're going to go to the second one here, set multiple variables. Click OK. And so the filter we're going to want to add inside of here is this. Let's make this a little bit longer. There we go. Set a filter. We're going to label it if confirmed for time. And the condition is this. And we're going to look at the choices, and this is going to be our labeler over here, which we'll probably want to name this content. You see how this is different than the assistant. The assistant is the drop down of text.value. This is message.content. And we say if this is the same as the word or equal to time agreed, send this way. And then we're going to create another one for a suggest a new time one. So if we open that up, go in here, go suggest new times, and we go here, and we go into choices, messages, content, and we go here, we can type in suggest new time, just like that, hit save. Now we've got the filters. Now we could do a third filter, but I'm not going to do it right now, just like if something breaks or a fallback or whatever. But right now, this is a pretty robust system, but if you want to make it extra insured, we'd want to add that as well. Now, if we go to this top variable here, of booking time suggested. Actually, let's go to the bottom one first. Let's do the bottom one first. That's the pattern. If we need to suggest new times, what we can do inside of here is we can open up this. We can open up the variable time here. We want to add in, and we want to create some multiple variables. Technically one, but a variable available time slots. And we're going to do this, and we're going to grab the available time slots down here from the data store. If I go here, search records, you'll see this start to pulsate. That is the one that we're going to be grabbing. For whatever reason, when I got it from before over here, I couldn't access the data unless I searched for it by using the data store. So this works. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to format that. I've just noticed with ChatGPT, for some reason, when you have multiple prompts as filters, it helps with the formatting and it helps the AI have a clarity around what this looks like. So it doesn't have to do as much heavy lifting or thinking. So when you break it up into small bite-sized chunks, it seems to do better with the data. So in here, we're going to create a new prompt, and we are going to title this, we're going to make this 500 tokens. We'll go here, and I'm going to paste this in and read it to you just to make it easy. You are a helpful calendar sorter. You will be given a range of available times in the calendar. Your job is to break them down in the available time windows into 30-minute time slots. So if you receive a start time of, and then just basically how I fed it through the text aggregator, this data, with the start time and the end time of June 18th, 1:45 p.m., right? And then an end time of the June 18th at 4:45, right? So showing those two slots, you will break it down into this format. So all I did was take that time window and show ChatGPT how to break it down into 30-minute increments, that format. Now, next thing we can do is now we show the system, that's kind of your job, that's what you're doing. We're going to give it another prompt from the user, hit paste, close it out, available calendar slots, just like that. We are now going to be grabbing the available calendar slot times from here, which is actually coming from the data store. It said, here is a range of times that are available from the calendar. So we show the data store slots. Convert these time slots into normal dates and times with PST time windows and break them into 30-minute time slots. Please do not lie. So I've noticed when I was building this out for another client, it really helped to tell it not to lie. And so add that into here. So please don't give explanations, just give the output of the final form, right? That's all we want, just the final form. And tokens, you can probably get away 300. Leave that in there. Click OK. All right, so this is going to be, we're going to call this one format available slot times. And we're going to then open up the GPT assistant. And this is going to be the message assistant, which has that chat history. And we're going to select the assistant of the SMS booking. Let me see this V2 here. So we're going to be using that SMS V2 booking. And we're going to go into this user. And this is different than the system prompt ones because the system prompt is actually back on OpenAI's platform on the backside. For this one right here, we're going to put in the message. And I'm going to paste in this message to explain what it is. So over here, we're going to feed in the body, which is the body from the user that responded to the available times. And we say based on the availability windows in the calendar, and then we can put in the availability windows in the calendar. And if we go up over here to the format slots available, because we just said what are the time slots. I'm going to open this up, message content, boom, just like that. Suggest 2 new 30-minute possible time frames in a straightforward text message style. The same way you would respond in a simple text message suggesting only 32-minute time slots that are available in the time windows that's shown here. So I'm just reinforcing the message of the time windows that we have, what's available. So I'm going to be using the exact same message up here again. And this is just a bit of reinforcement. Now, the fun thing is we can go down to here where it says thread ID right there, and we can actually grab that thread ID from the actual history of the data store. We go inside here where it says chat history. This chat history, I'm going to add this in here, is the thing that we grabbed and we chucked from over here. So when this chat history got started, we chucked it in the data store, and that now allows us to then re-access that over here. So it continues the conversation. Great. Hit save like that. And that is what this is going to be doing is saying, okay, that time didn't work for you out. Time didn't work out, so we're going to suggest 2 new times. We are going to then grab that from the data store, format that into into a series of time slots using Pacific Standard Times. And then from here, we're now going to suggest 2 new time slots, just like that. And we are going to then create a Twilio message, create a message, send a message with that phone number, select the number. We're going to have this be from, because this is the phone number that we are texting from, and that's where we're going to send it back to. And we're going to create a body, and we are going to paste in these 2 new suggested time slots from right here. And this is the GPT assist. So we have that text history in there. And if we go inside here, we want this value, text.value, just like that. Hit save, just like that. So we have that going. So now we've got this flowing through. And the way this is going to be working is when we text back that the time doesn't work, it's going to go down here. And when we text back the time does work, it's going to go up here. Now we can open this up right now. And this is, so now we have this bottom, pattern here. We're going to go to the top pattern here for confirm and really confirm the event. So we're going to go here, zoom in, open this up here, create the assistant, copy this data across here, go to the assistant, and type in SMS. We have this V2, just like that. And we're going to go down to here and the message, and I'm going to paste this in because, again, I don't think you want to see me type all of this in, but I will explain it, and we'll zoom in to see what's happening here. So it says, you suggested these 2 times, right? And so we're going to go into the record, and we're going to be pulling up the suggested times from before, from the data store. See these 2 suggested times? Is it? I don't know if I have that. Oh, actually, I'm going to take a pause on that. I'm going to come back. I'm going to hit save here because I didn't set that as multiple variables over here. And I'm setting them here because when we're running it through the system, if this doesn't work or we're not getting the data we want, we can see it here, but in the data store, it's a little bit of a black box. So the reason why I'm setting the variables over here is it just makes it a lot more transparent and easier to see. And when we go to run the system, we'll know what's going on. Save anyways, hit refresh, open that up. And here is what we're going to be adding in. Booking record suggestion. We'll go here, and we're going to be, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, make sure we access that. Search records here, and we're going to say booking date suggestion right there. Create the next variable, name, because we're going to probably use their name again. We're going to go to the search records, use the name. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to chat history. And that chat history we can use as that thread ID. So there is that chat history right there. We can add in the email. Go here. And we're going to grab that email variable. And I think that's good. I think that's all we're going to need to do. Great. So now we have that set. Now we can go back inside of here. So you can see here, you suggested these 2 times. The response from, and then we can add in their name. The response from Dylan or whoever the person is, and then have the body here agreeing to the time. Agreeing to the time was agreeing to the time. So, and here the suggestion was 2 suggestions. The text message shows the back forth saying, "Oh, well, this date looks good," right? So it has some context around this. Now, ideally, it would know the text history, but it doesn't always know that. So we're going to say this: their email is, and then we're going to add in their email right here. Simply write back a super short text, no yapping, which is a good chat GPT prompt, so you cut all the fluff, called no yapping. Confirm the exact date and time and let them know they should expect an email. The format of this text should look like this, and here's an example of the message. Bob, you are confirmed for September 18th at 3:30 p.m. We will send you a calendar invite for your email to your bob@bobsmith.com. Maybe a real email, I don't know, within the next 5 minutes, right? So it's just got some context around that. Thread ID, we can go to the chat history, and now we've gotten that in there. All right, so now we've gotten that going. We now have the thread ID. The next thing here is to create the message. Go here, Twilio, create a message, go hit phone number, go here, phone number, and we're going to say this is going from, because this is, we're going to be sending it back from the initial phone number. And this is what's going to create the loop. To Dylan, back from Dylan, to Dylan, just like that. Or anybody else's name. I just don't have anybody here I'm testing with. So we got this body, and the body is going to be coming over from this ChatGPT over here, this assistant. Now, good practices would be to name this so we could see it coming across. But just to cover all the bases here, I just want to get this going and loop through so that we can get this whole thing built. And if there's any errors, we can fix them. And so the last thing we're going to do, and this completes the whole loop of everything. All right, save here. Cool, message was saved. Oops. Is we're going to update a record in the data store. And this is just the final time that the person agreed to. Update a record. Choose this SMS, agent booking. Scroll down here. And we're going to go to book date suggest selected. So this is what's going to be selected. And this is going to be the result. What is the final result that the person suggested? And so we can go inside ChatGPT, context, type, value. And that is going to be the time that was suggested. Now we don't want to overwrite anything. We're just inserting a missing one. We don't want to overwrite anything else so it doesn't delete everything. And that's what we want. Oh, the key. The key is the phone number. Now we want to make sure that we're using the right key here. And if you see this data store, when we search for the record, we're going to use this key, which is the phone number. But sometimes when you're sending messages, there'll be a plus sign. It'll mess it up because there'll be two different symbols. So we just want to use the initial key that we grabbed at the data store, get record. All right, so we got that. Now, if we wanted to, we could, just for completion's sake, we could go over here, type in Google Calendar, and we can go to Google Calendar. We can go to create an event. If I wanted to go into this Dylan Watkins one, which we're using as the business one, choose this as a primary time right there. Event name, we're going to call this booked. Let's call this discovery meeting with, and then we can insert the person's name right here. All right. And then if we wanted to inside of here, we could actually grab their time that was mentioned by breaking it out inside of here for this, and it would actually book the meeting for us inside of this one. But I'm not going to be doing this. I just want to show you where this is at inside of here. But you would grab the start date from the time that was actually confirmed through the Twilio message. Actually, technically you could by using the data store here, but I just have to format it. I guess we could. Let's just do it. Let's go here, open up ChatGPT. We can go into create a completion, slide that right in. Oh gosh, link that here. 4.0 system, add a message. System, your job is to format a date and time for the Google Calendar, just like that. Cool. Max tokens, 300. Add a message, just like that. And then we are going to go into here and we can feed it in some examples. So what I'm going to do here is before I do this, I'm going to hit save system. I'm going to put user system just like that. And we're going to just unlink that right there. And we're going to hit save. Before we do that, we're just going to go ahead and run this whole shebang. And we'll see how this thing works. So as we can see inside this store, we have this key. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Delete this from the data store so you can see the whole loop. We're going to turn this on and we can see that I've officially gotten this message. Thank you, Dylan, for showing interest in the service. We have these times available. Great. So if we then go over to this SMS booking system, we're going to turn this on. It's going to wait for me to send times, and I'm going to say neither time works. All right. And I'm going to hit enter. We're going to see this map down here go to the bottom. And we can see over here, it's now going across, finding 2 new times, and then it's going to send me a message with those 2 new times. Go through that. So now, as you can see, it says neither time works. And it goes, hey Dylan, thanks for letting me know. How about the 19th or June 28th? Either times, let me know if those work. Now that we have that, we can run this one more time so we can see that it went down that path. And I'm going to look at those dates, and let's just say I'm going to say in this one, the June 20th time you recommended works. So I'll say the June 20th date and time you suggested works. I'm going to send that off, and we're going to have this going up and over and across, and we can see that right over here. We can see that's come all the way through the top here. We can look at that and see that the message that just came across here got populated for the services. We got the output here talking about the June 20th at 2 p.m. just like that. And we can see that the message that was sent, if we just scroll down here, is Dylan, you are confirmed for June 20th at 2 p.m. We will send a calendar invite to your email at Dylan@DylanJWatkins in the next 5 minutes. And we've added that to the data store. So now if we go and look at that on the calendar here, that is the message that we have up, over, and across. That's great. I'm going to show you this right here. If you look at this, and we are now to refresh this data store, we'll be able to actually see all this information that came in. Chat history. We had the booking suggested times, right? The date selected time, the service, and the appointment slots that we had available, all inside of the database. So that is everything all the way across. Now if we wanted to, and I'll just show you this right here, we have this data store, and we can tell that the time that was suggested here, your booking date selected was here. We could copy something like that. We could go inside of this just like that here, and we could, as an example, is a format the date time for Google Calendar. And we can tell it, if you're the assistant, we could say, as a user, you would send a message like this, right? And then what we'd want to do is we'd want to say, as the assistant, you're going to respond in this format. So this is the message from the user. And so we're going to go into the assistant, and we're going to say exactly what we're going to want to have inside of there. And that is going to be, simply put, we're going to have the message format of, we can see that's on June 20th, 2020. Okay, so we know this is going to be 2024, which is going to be year. Right? And this is something I covered in the real estate creating a calendar event. But we're going to do year, and then we're going to do month, which is going to be June 06. And then we want to say that's going to be on the 20th, and we see it's at 2 p.m. just like that format flow is at 2 p.m. Now we can also say, okay, so we know it's the 20th, so we're going to add in T for time, and then what we're going to do is at, I think this is in military hours, I want to say, and so that would be 1400, 14, because that's technically 2 p.m., because that's 12 o'clock plus 2, and then minus, which is 1400 and 0 minutes, and then we can say minus 7 or 07:00, just like that. And so this format right here is showing that this is basically, there's like a central time zone, I think it's like Switzerland or somewhere like that, minus 7 hours across is Pacific Standard Time. So this is Pacific Standard Time for us, right? And so we can tell that this is the information, and we want it to be converted into this. And so if we wanted to, we could feed that another example just for sanity checks here. We'll have one more user, and we'll say like this: hi, Sarah, you're confirmed for July, I'll say 10th at 8 a.m. just like that. I'll call it sarah@sarah.com. And they're just giving it some examples. And so this format, we want to grab that exact same format again as the assistant. Then we're going to say that's 2024. July is going to be 7. And we know it's going to be the 10th. So instead of the 20th, it's going to be the 10th. Instead of 1400, we're going to do 08 for 8 a.m. All right. And now that we have this as examples, and this technically, we could have this be different, but let's just have it be slightly different. I'm going to call this Tim, just we're not using my exact example here. Jim, May, And we're going to call this May 2nd at, we'll say 10 a.m. just like that. I'll say tim@time.com. Okay, so we can see that format. So if we're going to change that same format, just so that I'm not using my own example, that's the one we're going to be feeding through when we run this. We're going to hook this up right here. And it's okay, that's May 2nd. So we have May, which is the 05, 2nd, which is going to be 02, and then we wanted to be at 10 a.m. So we're going to have that be at 10, and then there's the data just like that. So now we've got those examples all the way across, and now for that last one, we would then really just pop in the user. For example, the user here is going to be the prompt from the AI over here on the side. So we go to context, text, and then value, just like that. And so the output should be what we want it to be right in there. And then the reason why, save, hit refresh. All right, great. And the reason why we want that is so that when we go to format it, we're going to have this calendar ID. We're going to go into this personal primary here, just like that. Event name, and we're going to call this discovery event with, and we can put in their name from here. It's not an all-day event, and the start date. This is the critical piece. And since we're going to have ChatGPT be pulling out this information right here, I believe this is the right one. I just want to confirm that. Messages, role, content. We have that start date just like that. And then if we wanted to, we could have the end date be the same time. And we can have the duration be 30 minutes, just like that. It says format is HH00. So we can do, it looks like 00:30, duration 30 minutes. That should be good, just like that. Now I could probably add minutes onto this one, but that should pop out with the calendar event just like that. Now what's awesome about this as well is we can go in this, we can go into show advanced settings, scroll down to the bottom here, right? We can also, where it says send notifications about the event, inside of here, we should be able to add in attendees right here. And we can put in the information from this field right here. We can put the name, we can put the full name, let's just say the name is Dylan, and the email invite to us is going to be this dylan@dylanjwatkins.com, right? Because we have that email from the lead magnet. And this is the whole thing all set up, ready to rock, up, over, and across. That should work. Ooh, what does not like? It doesn't like something. Oh, send notifications. Yeah, we'll say to all guests. And yeah, that should be good. We'll hit OK. We are going to hit save. And now let's go in. We're going to go open this up to this system right here. And then what we can do is we'll select this inside of the data store. We'll delete it so it's nice and empty. We can go back to this first scenario that we have across. Hit save. We're going to run this one more time. This is going to be going across. And we're going to let that roll through with the AI. It's going to suggest, it says, all right, we have the availability for 30 minutes, June 18th to 20th. So we can see that right there. Availability for June 18th to 20th. I'm going to go over to this, zoom out a little bit. All right, we're gonna run this. I'm gonna say, nope, can't make it. Sent that. It's gonna go to the bottom. It was great. You can see that hitting the bottom pattern right there. It's thinking about it, kicking that across, finding some additional times over here, and sends me a message. So it says, how about the 19th or the 20th? So we're gonna run this one more time. And I go, June 20th is good. Yeah, I'll say, the June 20th time you suggested is good. Yeah, let's do that. Send. So it seems like we went down this path here. It's time suggested. It went down here and I stopped it. Choices, suggest new time. And that is because this is choices, suggest new time, which is strange. because the message that we got from the body, if we look at the body of the message, yeah, June 20th is good. So this was my message from the AI, and it says here is the response to this. Yeah, here is the user response to those times. Yeah, June 20th time you suggested is good. And this says suggest new time. It's strange. All right, well then what we'll do is we're going to feed both these in as an example, but we're going to train it. Again, as what we want it to say. And we'll just do this training path so we're going to make sure we get the right answer that we want. So we're going to go inside of here. Go to that. We'll type in user. And this will be the message. Here's the suggested times of this. The user responded at the time you suggested. And then we're going to tell it that we want it in terms of a response time of the assistant to respond at. What do we have? Let me save this. Time agreed. So we're going to grab that. We're going to open this guy up. Go back down here to the bottom. And we're going to put in time agreed. Just like that. So that it knows when we get messages like that to agree on that time. Awesome. Open that back up. We'll go in here. Hit save. Delete. Yes, I really want to delete this. Great. And with the new trained system, we're going to run this across. Thinking about it. We'll show you the message again. We'll just give you a brief thing just so you know. You can see that we're going to message. It goes the 18th or the 19th. I can say, all right, that's what I got is the 18th or the 19th. We're going to turn this on. I'm going to say, nope, can't make it to those times. Hit enter. Want to see that run? Go down the path. As we can tell, it's going down the path here that we want, which is awesome. All right, we got the message. Well, it says, how about the 18th or the 20th instead? I'm going to say, yeah, June 20th is good for me. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, we got that same prompt again. For some reason, this guy, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try this. I'm going to switch it from this 4.0 system. We're going to go back to old Turbo here. GPT-4. Just straight 4. I think it's smarter for whatever reason. And we're going to have it saved like that. I'm going to save it like this. And we're going to test out to see if that is the issue. Because it is getting the data. And we can again train it one more time though. Because we can tell that this right here, the data coming in, says time agreed. I did say time agreed. Why did it choices, message, here, suggest new time? Yeah, that is not what we wanted. Okay. So then we're going to grab this. We're going to go here and we're going to grab this message output that we had. Interesting. Oh, did I not feed in the body after that? Ooh. Oh, it's the wrong order. Oh, I see what happened there. Okay. All right, let's double check this. System, user. And so we go, okay. The user is going to say, near these times work for me. The assistant's going to say, suggest new time. The user's going to say, yeah, July 18th looks good. Assistant's going to say, time agreed. User's going to say, here is the suggested times for this whole piece. That's the actual true message that's coming across. The assistant is going to say, yeah, time agreed. and then the user is going to give the actual message. So that should work. I'm going to hit save. So all that stuff should be good for one final test. Or maybe not one final test. We'll find out, right? Run this guy again. Gonna go up, over, and across. I got my message. I'm gonna turn this on. As for the 18th or 19th, I go neither time works. Have that go across. You see the message over here. As that comes across, I'm gonna get the next message, and it's going to suggest 2 new times. Yeah, I'll say, I'm gonna turn this guy on. I go, yeah, June 18th at 6 p works. I'm gonna hit enter. Yep, going the right way now. Across to here. And we got the text message. You can say, we have been confirmed for the 18th at 6 p.m. We'll send you the calendar invite there. And if we go inside of here to the calendar, we go here, we now have a new discovery event sent to the lead, Dylan J. Watkins, with the new discovery event calendar inside of here. So that is it, everybody. That is how you hook up and make an AI agent lead booking system that can go back and forth with your leads as many times as needed, and then put that into your own calendar event. This was a lot of fun for me to make, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. This is what I cover, AI automations marketing. And if you want to get access to this blueprint so you don't have to make the whole thing, and you just want to be able to have this thing available for you, you can go to the link down in the descriptions. It's available for you if you want to purchase it. It should save you a bunch of time to get this up and rolling. So thank you so much. Have a blessed and beautiful day, everybody. Much love. Enjoy your journey in the world of AI, agents, and automation, and I will see you on the other side. Bye now.